Hi there, welcome to my views on News 2 News. Local governments in the Amhara region. Reports are coming in from five districts, five towns in the Amhara region where Fano fighters are appointing their administrators. It's a big development because the government claims that Fano groups are on the run, they have been defeated, and they're not in a position to be a threat to the military, and they are no more relevant. But the situation on the ground is different. Secondly, another attempt by Turkey to bring Ethiopia and Somalia to the table for talks. Hakan Fidan, Turkish foreign minister, gave an interview to Turkish news agency. What did he say? Because Ethiopia Somalia talks planned for the 18th of September have been postponed. Will talks be held? Will talks be rescheduled? What is Turkey saying? Is Turkey trying to cover up its uh, defeat, if it's the right word, or failure? Is it trying to cover up the failure uh, as it could not achieve any results in mediating between Ethiopia and Somalia? Let's start from the Amhara region, viewers, where last year, when Fano fighters refused to be disarmed and launched an armed resistance struggle against security forces, there were a few Fano groups, they were on the run. They just stuck in, they showed perseverance, they managed to reorganize themselves, they got support from ASF. They got public support too. Skandar joined them this year. Taframamu joined them, and despite several rounds of military operations against Fano groups could not be defeated. Though government is making claims as if Fano groups are on the run, as if Amhara government is in control, which is not true. Overall situation is alarming. Humanitarian situation in Amhara is being covered up by the government. Education sector seriously affected. Millions of students are suffering, but government is trying to paint a picture of normalcy in the Amhara region. Pano, business suffering, education suffering, economy suffering, transport sector, people, uh, hospitals unable to provide services. There are so many issues in the region because of this armed conflict in the region. Pano groups are establishing now local governments, showing that they're getting stronger. They are carrying out large scale operations now. They are controlling border areas. They are conducting attacks, carrying out attacks on large military convoys, showing videos of their entry in cities like Gondar. I covered all this development in the past few days. Let's not repeat it. Now, the new reports indicate that Fano groups are establishing local governments in the Amhara region. Reports are coming in from South Gondar zone of the Amhara region. By the way, had Bante Abate not been killed by now, maybe South Gondar would have been entirely under Fano. He did a lot of work in South Gondar, but he was killed, and that was a blow to Fano's movement. But still, Fano fighters are very strong in South Gondar. In South Gondar, in five towns, Fano groups are planning to install administration because military, security forces, militias have withdrawn from these five places. The five towns are situated to both sides of Vuldia to Debre Tabor road. Military forces have withdrawn to Debre Tabor town. Fano groups are in control of these five towns. Iste is one of these towns. Makane is the second one. Lower Ganth, third one. Samada Mikane Issus. Here reportedly, by the way, we have seen several rounds of fighting between Fano and Mid for the control of Iste Makane Issus. There are videos on that earlier this year, last year too, because these places are very strategic. But it seems that military has decided to retreat to Debret. By the way, if military is in Debret about any time, it can launch attacks in Makanis, Iste, etc. But Fano groups now have decided to install their administration in these 5 towns. If there are Fano appointed administrators in these 5 towns, it means that the road will be cut off. Road is already cut off. Waldia to Debrecen road remains cut off because Fano fighters are very strong. They carry out attacks on military and military vehicles are unable to use this road. Private vehicle drivers are not safe as well. They have to pay money to armed groups sometimes, and sometimes roads remain closed. This road remains closed. So it's a major development that foreign groups are now establishing governments, local level, whatever level governments in the Amhara region. But the governments can be dismantled because if military is indebatable from there, it can anytime enter Makanesis East, Andabat. Let's see, can Fano install and sustain administrative civilian structure in these 5 towns? Let's monitor the situation. I think it would be a big development if foreign fighters manage to establish and sustain administrative setup in these 5 towns. Secondly, Turkey wants to give another try to mediate between Ethiopia and Somalia. Turkey has hosted twice the Ethiopian and Somali foreign ministers. They held talks, no breakthrough. Third round of talks was planned for the 18th of September, but the talks could not be held. Talks postponed indefinitely. No new date announced. Hakan Fidan is Turkish foreign minister. He talked to Turkish news agency, and Hakan had said that Turkey now wants to talk to Ethiopia and Somalia separately. He claimed that progress had been made during earlier 2 rounds of talks. This progress can be built on, and Turkey would hold separate meetings with the 2 countries, the leaders, and then the 2 countries will hold talks under the auspices of Turkish government. The delay, or you can say postponement of third round of talks is an indication that the positions taken by Ethiopia and Somalia are irreconcilable or difficult to be reconciled. Turkey wants to cover up its failure. It could not find a solution. By the way, Turkey does not want any direct war between Ethiopia and Somalia because it would be difficult for Turkey to be neutral. Turkey has signed a defense deal with Somalia. It's a major trading partner with Ethiopia. That's why it's trying to prevent an armed conflict between 2 countries. But so far, it has not been able to convince the 2 parties to show flexibility. Both sides are sticking to their extreme positions. Now, Egypt is a new entry in the region, in Somalia. Somalia is getting Egyptian military support. Ethiopia backed by UAE. Turkey wants to give another try. So either Hakan Fidan will travel to both Ethiopia and Somalia, or he will talk to the 2 countries' leaders, or Erdogan will step in. We'll see how Turkey will hold separate meetings with Ethiopian and Somali leaders. But it seems that the chances of a breakthrough in these talks are very slim. First challenge for Turkey is, can it convince Ethiopia and Somalia for third round of talks? because the two parties have not shown interest in being part of third round of talks. That's what happens. Thank you for watching.